The battle for the top four is well and truly joined. Huddersfield's defeat at Wigan in round one and Castleford's gutsy win against Hull means that Darryl Powell's magic is being weaved again in 2015. The Tigers now level on points with the Giants, but they'll be cautioned by the fact that Warrington came here and won 44-6 3 weeks ago. Joel Monaghan grabbing 2 tries. Last weekend, though, it was a tale of woe for the Wolves. They fell to their heaviest defeat of the season at Leeds, and at the same time, Castleford skipper Michael Shenton was making hay with 4 tries in the win over Hull. The next 80 minutes could have a huge say in which club moves forward to Super League's semi-final series in September. Yes, in many ways, this is Warrington's point of no return, and for Castleford, having righted 1 wrong against Hull last week, the Black and Whites having knocked them out of the Cup this season, now the chance to put the record straight against the Wolves, who beat them 44-6 here just 3 weeks ago. The teams, and Castleford say, same again in the backs. Ben Roberts is a former playing colleague of Warrington new boy Chris Sandow during their Parramatta days together. Michael Shenton comes into the match on the back of that career-best 4 tries last week. Up front, Adam Milner replaces Paul McShane, who made his Tigers debut last week. Milner going up against Darryl Clark for a 3rd time this year. Mike McMeekin was on the bench last week. He steps up to the starting 13. Manny displaces his Junior Moores, who starts at interchange this week, while we get our first glimpse of the former Catalan Dragon giant, Gadwin Springer, all 6'4" and 16 stones of him. Warrington welcome back some familiar names after their heaviest defeat in 3 years at Leeds last week. Ryan Atkins returns in the centre after his first absence in 14 games. Joel Monaghan is back at the scene of his 2 tries 3 weeks ago. That's his only try-scoring appearance in his last 8 matches. And Chris Hill is at prop. Anthony England has an elbow injury. Hill was at loose forward at Leeds. And in the back row, Ben Westwood comes back after suspension after he flattened Castleford's Luke Gale here 3 weeks ago. Ben Harrison was concussed in the semi-final. He missed last week, but he's fit enough to return. And Gary Wheeler is back on the scene for only the 8th appearance of his season, and he will come off the bench. So the importance of this match should not be underestimated. Castleford have won 2 of their last 4, but they have shipped in 115 points in the process. They will have to beware against Warrington here tonight. Despite the fact that the Wolves have lost their last 2 in the League and Cup and have suffered 3 defeats in the last 4, they really can ill afford another setback on the ground where they were big winners just 3 weeks ago, and they have an impressive record actually on this ground. Tony Smith knows that they've won 7 of their last 8 visits. Steve-O, they have to make it 8 from 9 to keep their season alive.
Yeah, you're spot on there, Eddie. And Warrington coach Tony Smith fully aware this could well be the last throw of the dice. They'll be buoyed by the fact that they took the Tigers apart just recently, but also a little bit of negativity running through their brain box in regard to the fact that they were absolutely hammered by Leeds last week. Castleford will be lifted by the fact by this fellow Darryl Powell that says that they are gaining momentum, they are getting back into the thing. A good win against Hull. The most important factor is how can the forwards take control. Both sides have got some very, very good 3 quarters out there. Interesting to see how Warrington, they've switched Chris Sandow. They've put him into the standoff position. Richie Myler will take the halfback, the scrum half position, and that indicates to me that Tony Smith will put a lot more on the shoulders of Sandow. He will be the controller, he will get things working, and hopefully the likes of Penny, Evans, Atkins and Monaghan will get benefit from that. But Castleford, they're pretty difficult to beat on their home ground. Not a bad crowd turned up for a Thursday night. It should be a humdinger.
Well, it should be. And Castleford, a repeat of the playoff encounter here 11 months ago. Warrington won that 30 points to 14 to bring to an end Castleford's finest ever Super League season, and they got themselves to within 80 minutes of a 3rd consecutive grand final appearance. Stephen Raxford was the man of the match on that particular occasion. Well, Ben Thaler, he was in charge of 2 games last weekend, and he's fit enough to turn out on this Thursday night. Ben Thaler, the man in charge, and keeping a close eye, no doubt, on Ben Westwood, his last appearance here He put in a high shot on Luke Gale after 2 minutes. Gale left the field a quarter of an hour later, and then the war of words developed between Darryl Powell and Tony Smith, and all that now will be settled over the next 80 minutes perhaps. It's Castleford against Warrington. It's week 2 of the Super 8s in the First Utility Super League. Liam Finn gets us underway. The rain is doing its best to fall. It's been threatening all day. I know it's moving up from the southeast of England where it's been torrential today, but so far the rain is holding off and we should be in for a crackerjack of a game.
Yeah, let's hope that torrential rain doesn't come within the next hour and a half, especially the fact that we don't really want to see this into a big forward game, but the likes of Sims have nothing better than to try to soften the opposition. It's always difficult early in the piece. The forwards like to get involved, but this man, he's going to get booed all night, that is for sure.
That won't bother Ben West. We got a quick play the ball then to Stephen Ratchford. Here now is Chris Hill, and Castleford have got Warrington to the 5th tackle. So here comes the last for the Wolves, Darrell Clark on former familiar territory. Up goes one of those spiralling bombs from Chris Sandow. Underneath it is his former Parramatta teammate Ben Roberts, and Castleford now will try and work the ball up to the other end of the field from right to left as they attack.
Well, we anticipated that. Chris Sandow, he really has got a great technique, makes the ball spin all over the joint, but it was well taken by Ben Roberts, just a touch too heavy.
With a scamper away from dummy half by Ashley Gibson. Denny Solomona still on the sideline for the Castleford Tigers, their second top scorer. Here comes Andy Lynch. Andy Lynch, evergreen, only the 7th player to reach 400 appearances in Super League. He passed that milestone on Good Friday against the Leeds Rhinos.
But you can see just dropping into this dummy half position, Adam Milner. And his contest against the man of steel, Darrell Clark, will be very interesting indeed. That's a great take.
It is a great take from Ratchford. It was on the end of a high kick downfield by Liam Finn. Kevin Penny is the dummy half for Warrington. Here now, Ryan Atkins back in the side after missing last week, his first absence for a long, long time. He had played in 14 consecutive matches prior to that. Westwood, you'll know every time he gets it, certainly until the Castleford fans get fed up.
That'll just inspire Ben Westwood, won't it? But the start is so important for Castleford. They went down, they conceded 2 early tries last week when they played against Hull FC, and it's obviously in the memory bank that they conceded 44 points just a few weeks ago when they played Warrington. They need to stiffen up, make sure they take the battle to this Warrington side, because Warrington are here with a point to prove, Eddie, I feel.
Yes, they are. Here we are at the last tackle again. Another high kick from Sandow. That's obviously in the game plan.
Yeah, it's a lot better, this one.
Oh, that's bounced off the shoulders of Gibson. And it's Jake Webster who's away for Castleford.
Well, that was a little bit unusual. I thought there may have been a knock-on from a Castleford player, but they took full advantage of it.
Roberts is trying to break through, and Roberts loses the ball forward. Opportunity gone.
Yeah, he tried to offload it. Well, it was a great move. Little short pass.
Is it not punched out by Chris Hill, Mike? Going back towards his own line, I think that's what forced the ball free.
Yeah, the arm was certainly in there, but it's and you can see quite clearly, but I don't think it was deliberate. Either way, it's play on. Ben Taylor said he feels he's got it right, but what a start from the fullback, Ben Roberts.
Sandow again, another kick, this time going for a 40-20. Just doesn't quite get it absolutely correct. This will skip away off the turf. It's a little bit greasy after a shower as the players were warming up.
Well, of all the grounds that we go to, the one that's easiest to kick at 40-20 is here at the Jungle for the Castleford side. The pitch, because of the history of the situation, isn't 100 metres long. The Wolves got a 40-20 last time. No.
I think we've got a slight problem with Phil's microphone. We'll get that sorted out for you. Some of the words of wisdom were lost. Justin Carney now.
And talking of words of wisdom, it's going to be important for the 2 captains out there. They really have got to sort of settle the sides down. You can see that they're quite happy, the Castleford Tigers, just to trundle down the field of play. This is where you get the likes of Roberts and Luke Gale trying to get themselves involved, but that's good defence.
Good defence against the run from Grant Millington, and Castleford now reach tackle number 5. Last one coming up here. So again it's back to Liam Finn, this time a little slice kick off the outside of the boot, and well claimed by Kevin Penny. And Kevin Penny, it's a one-man band as far as he's concerned at the moment, and a good tackle coming in from Ben Roberts to stop him on the halfway line. But here now comes Stephen Ratchford.
Yeah, good tackle by Ben Roberts. Didn't commit himself, made sure that he made the man go on the outside. So Kevin Penny knew he didn't have the speed to get round. It was a well-executed tackle by Roberts. Had to be.
Castleford defence is marshalled now as Clark at dummy half finds Chris Sandow. He gets it away to Ben Curry, and Webster is the man round the legs, and Andy Lynch up top. Down he goes as Curry plays the ball again to Sandow. Here is Ashton Sims. Now it's with Richie Myler. Myler looking for runners. Ben Westwood gets it again. He finds Rhys Evans, and Evans trying to go on the outside of Michael Shenton. Shenton does well, brings him down. They're very close though, Warrington. And it's now with Myler, and Myler will slide the kick in, looking for Sandow. Ball has bounced, and the referee has given a penalty to Castleford for offside.
Yeah, just a touch in front. Wasn't a bad option though. And you can see there that Myler, yeah, just and only just in front. Boy, that was close. Chris Sandow, it was a planned move. They knew what was going on. They just got a little bit in front of it.
Extra week on the training pitch is exactly what Sandow will have needed coming into the match. A little cold last week maybe against the Leeds Rhinos. Showed in patches what he's capable of.
Well, we've already seen that he's going to control things out there for the Warrington Wolves tonight. He's such a talented player.
Oliver Holmes was the dummy half. Gale drops the pass off to Grant Millington. Millington is surrounded by 3 players. Just a word about Oliver Holmes, by the way, the number 11. He's only 23 last Friday in the win against Hull. 5 years in Super League, Oliver Holmes, at 23. Incredible.
Yeah, we seem to forget that he's still a youngster, isn't he?
Seems to have been around forever,
yeah.
Oliver Holmes.
Well, the same as that man who's playing the ball, Andy Lynch, 17 seasons in Super League.
Gale, that's a bit of a rushed kick under pressure, finds Stephen Ratchford, and that's all. But Holmes, that man we were talking about, gets the tackle in.
Well, that was real misunderstanding there by the Castleford side.
Do you think so, Mike? Weren't they trying to move the ball around so that they got the fullback in the wrong position? A lot of teams, fullbacks can predict where the kick's going to come in. I think they were trying to trick Stephen Ratchford so he wasn't where the ball was kicked. It didn't come off, but I understand the thinking.
Yeah, the thinking, but the execution was shocking. Simple as that.
To halfway with Darrell Clark. Myler waiting at dummy half. Here is Sandow again. Lays the pass off this time to Chris Hill. Chris Hill will trundle the ball forward to the 40-metre mark.
Castleford have to be very, very wary. It's interesting to see that Darrell Clark has not jumped into the dummy half position as much as you would expect for a hooker. Obviously, Tony Smith fully aware that the Castleford side know his antics. And we've seen both Richie Myler and the fullback Stephen Ratchford do that job.
Castleford looked a little fortunate to escape there. The ball certainly hit the ground, but the referee had a quick look at his touch judge and said play on. No knock on in the tackle, in the ruck as he gets to his feet. Have a look at this, Stuart.
Well, the touch is called that it didn't hit the floor, and I think he just got his hand underneath it to stop it, so that'll be why they played on.
Fair enough, so no knock on. Official getting it right. And Adam Milner is the dummy half again. And Millington trying to take it up to halfway, and Warrington restrict them to just inside their own half here after 5 tackles. So what will Luke Gale do with the kick? Well, he pumps it long, and well, actually, it's not a bad kick at all. I thought that was going to skim away, but it was a tremendous kick.
Was it ever? And look at the chase. Oh, that lifts aside, and they know it. They're trying to hold him down, and you can see there that Ratchford very craftily using the right arm to lock it inside of the Castleford defender, trying to kid the official. Didn't get away with it though.
Sims will cart it down the middle. That's his trademark. That's what he does. The Fijian international. Hill now up the middle for Warrington once again. That's where all the traffic's coming at the moment.
Eddie, you talk about Ashton Sims, and he really does get over the advantage line. But
40-20 here attempt from Sandow. Ooh, now then.
I think he might have just got it. Yeah.
The touch judge says by half a metre. Head and feet to Warrington.
Yeah, that was great thinking. Wonderful kick. He has that ability, this fella. Gave himself plenty of room. Oh, now then.
It's all right, it's the wrong line, that, Steve-O. That's a 30-metre line. He was well behind.
He had me confused there. But what a kick in the end.
Do you know, you could see that was a big part of his game last week when he played against Leeds. I know he kicked one out on the full, but every time he seemed to get to the right sort of position to kick the ball, he was going for those 40-20. So he's an astute buy for Tony Smith. I'm sure he's going to add to this Warrington side, and when he gets the ball in hand, he's not frightened as well to take on those big fellas in the middle.
And that could be an important tactic tonight, because this isn't the longest pitch in Super League by any stretch of the imagination, and that could be a massive weapon for Sandow and for the Warrington Wolves here. Sandow again in at dummy half. We've hardly seen Darrell Clark in there in the opening 10 minutes. This is Ryan Atkins now. Now they're inching ever closer at Warrington. There is Clark, here is Sandow, drops the pass off to Westwood, and Westwood can't get his way through the two defenders.
Now will Warrington go for a kick early, or will they wait until the last?
It's with Myler, and Myler stumbles.
Didn't help his cause.
Atkins, here is Hill again. And Hill trying to bust through the tackles, gets the ball away to Ben Harrison. And Harrison fancies his chances. He gets away from Milner. He comes back for a second effort, drives the legs to the line, and that is good defence. That's held up.
It had to be, because that was really strong effort there by Harrison. Unbelievable. He's just gone upstairs to check. He knows it's a no try as far as Ben Thaler is concerned.
No try as far as we're concerned either, Stuart, I think.
I think so. We had the advantage of seeing from the front of the tackle, which Ben Thaler didn't. Touches were blocked by the post pad, so he's done the right thing. He doesn't think it's a try, but he just wants to check. It's held up all the time so far, and it comes to rest on the legs there. So this will be confirmed as a no try, and it'll be held up over the line. So that'll be a restart with a play the ball out on the 10-metre line.
Indeed, the tackle count will continue. Good work by Nathan Massey.
Will it be a kick from Sandow? It is.
There it is, out wide looking for Kevin Penny. Not the best though, but they get the repeat set just the same. Ashley Gibson alert to the danger, but couldn't get out of trouble.
And this is what you call good technique. Rugby league at its best. And Chris Sandow fully aware of his importance and get the kick in there. It's well done, but smothered by the winger.
Eddie, sorry, Steve, both teams were completing the set to 6 early on. So now this is Warrington's third set on the bounce, and that comes off the back of the 40-20. And now it comes back of that very good kick into the corner and the good pressure from Kevin Penny.
So Roberts with the goal line dropout, the man, of course, who scored the drop goal not long ago when we were last here, that beat St Helens with the last kick of the game. A tremendous match that night, and we're in, I think, for something similar here once things open up, and they might open up here in this set for Warrington as Sims drags the ball forward again for them. Midway inside the Castleford half, Sandow picks that up off his knees, gets it away to Ben Curry, and Curry goes down on tackle number 3.
Good tackle by Liam Finn, right round the ankles. It needed it as well.
Sims will drive it in.
Watch for the switch on the blind side. He got it away.
He did to Sandow. Oh, and Harrison comes up with a knock-on.
Oh boy, Tony Smith will be disappointed with that. All that pressure, all wasted, gone to nothing.
I think Castleford were very pleased here, because the last time they played on this ground 3 weeks ago against Warrington, they couldn't defend the line well enough. Whenever the Wolves got to within 10 metres of it, too often they got across the score. We've seen them a better organisation, better commitment and communication, and they've seen off the first big threat there from the Wolves.
Darrell Powell, the coach of the year, and Tony Smith is opposite number, coach of the year over a decade ago. Oh, did that go backwards? Yes, it did, but who has the ball now?
It's the second one, Eddie. There's a knock on. I think it's Liam Finn who goes up to clean that ball up. The ball goes out here. You can see that Gibson, while he loses the ball, it goes backwards. Sorry, it was McMeekan who drops the ball initially. So that's where the knock-ons come from.
Oh, that is a sin.
So more pressure coming in.
Sorry, Eddie, you defended ever so well. You've kept him out. 3 sets of 6, and then your opportunity to just calm things down, and you come up with a knock-on from the scrum.
And here come Warrington in the shape of Rhys Evans, and Rhys Evans, well, he tried to slide his way over the line, and they did well to hold him up, Carney and company then. Shenton in there also. Offside decision here, though.
Yeah, not standing square, came out of the block. It's so tempting. You realise that the man in the dummy half position, he knows it too.
So yet another set of 6 at this Castleford Tigers defensive line. Harrison releases the ball in the tackle and finds Ashton Sims. The big Fijian gets to within 6 metres of the line, plays the ball to Darryl Clark. Here is Chris Hill. That's good defence against that run.
Clark on his own, will he throw the dummy?
No, he'll give it to Sandow, and Sandow just short of his first try in Warrington's colours.
Boy, that was great work by Oliver Holmes.
Clark again. Clark fires the ball to Myler. Myler then flat pass to Ratchford. Kick wide for Ratchford, looking for Kevin Penny. Was he tackled in the air then? No, he wasn't. The referee says play on. Ashley Gibson did well.
Well, Penny thought he was going to score. All he had to do was just dip down, and here comes Ratchford. Oh, struggling defence by the Castleford.
But they're holding out at the moment. Can they hold out here? Yes, they can. That's a plus. It's a green tick in the box for Castleford.
Certainly is not the best finish. The kick should have been a little bit gentle. It wasn't. It was too strong.
Well, they'll take heart and encouragement from that. And here now goes Justin Carney, one of the most difficult men in Super League to put down. Yeah. Eventually Warrington do.
The one thing about it, Eddie, you can utilise him as though he's an extra forward. And that can be a huge advantage for any coach.
You can tell after 10 or 15 minutes when you watch a game of rugby league if you're going to be in for something special. And this game has been perfectly set up by the commitment of both sides, the accuracy of some of the passing and kicking. Well, Castleford's defence really has shown us we're really in for a game. Now it's their turn to attack.
It is, and they're attacking here with Lynch. Bit of a schmozzle at the play of the ball, but here now is Gale, and Gale dropped the ball onto his foot. Referee wipes the tackle count clean. Liam Finn has seen that, I think, so he gives it to Millington. He certainly has. Another set of 6 then coming in on this Warrington defence. Can they be as big defensively as Castleford have been? And Massey trying to weave his way to the line.
That looked a high shot. Not the best kick there from Gale.
Gale, here is Roberts.
It's got to be a try.
Well, they soaked up all that pressure, Castleford. It seemed to be incessant, the pressure on their line. The defence was magnificent, and the first opportunity Darryl Powell's men get to go up the other end, they come up with the first try of the match. Justin Carney, 16 now for the season.
And this was the 6 to go. They were lucky with it because it wasn't the best from Luke Gale. They picked it up, got the forward through, and you'll find that this Warrington defence just caught up in there. You could see quite clearly Joel Monaghan came out of the line. Watch him come on the angle. It leaves the overlap. No man's land. Carney, one of the easiest scored this season.
This is brilliant. Justin Carney scores the try, but I think it's come from his play and Ash Gibson's play from the tap on the 20, where it gets him in that good field position. They were winning the play, the balls. They were playing on the front foot, and to score a try like that when they've been under all that pressure and the opening 17 minutes show that this is a very good side.
Well, he maintains his try per game ratio, does Justin Carney. 61st appearance here tonight for Castleford. 61st try, and his first touchdown in the last 2. 24 last year, he was the top try scorer. His 7th straight appearance on the wing, and he has given the Tigers the lead after all that pressure up the other end from the Warrington Wolves. So Luke Gale with a very difficult conversion attempt. Needs 5 points for 200 in his debut year at Castleford, Luke Gale. Left the field 3 weeks ago after 17 minutes, having been clattered by Ben Westwood in that controversial moment. And Gale will draw this over the bar. That's a great kick from Luke Gale. And the Tigers lead by 6 points to 0.
Eddie, this where it's all come about. Gibson first of all, then this man Carney. They're so big, they're so strong. Everyone just keeps on turning up for each other. Whoever's got a Castleford shirt on just keeps playing. They keep putting themselves where the action is. And this is why they're such a good side.
And when you consider the start to the season they made, Castleford losing their first 3, This is a remarkable comeback late in the year.
Even more remarkable, Eddie, when you look at that stat at the bottom of the screen there, the Castleford Tigers have had 3 play the balls in the opposition 20. It's where most tries come in a rugby league game. The Wolves have had almost 5 times that and failed to score. Whether their attack can improve sufficiently to win this game is the major test. Chris Sandow, they're hoping to be heavily involved in that, but another penalty conceded just helped the Castleford side get out of their own half.
Well, a lack of concentration between the two players, and it's all right doing the defence, but when you just hang around the play the ball area like we saw from Ben Westwood, and again messing around, could have been penalised. Oliver Holmes didn't like that. Bit of a rough round the face.
Lynch gets them to the halfway line. 2 tackles gone. Massey taking on Harrison.
Referee Thaler said it was on the chest.
Milner goes to the right-hand side, and Grant Millington.
The one thing I like about the Tigers is that they can play very, very, very soft rugby league. I mean, with a pair of hands, the passing very tight amongst the forwards. Then they'll make the link.
And here they come now down the right-hand side, and Liam Finn floats the ball up into the air. It's claimed as if by Webster. It's all over the shop, and the referee's given Castleford a penalty anyway for a nudge off the ball.
Well, again, lack of discipline. You've got to make sure that you get things right. And I'm afraid Warrington, on this occasion, you could see there that Atkins, why on earth would you want to put a man out of the way like that? The officials are going to see that.
I think it's Chris Sandow that's been penalised just as he catches the ball. He's gone across a man and tackled him in the air, or nudged him in the air.
OK, so here comes Lynch for Castleford. This is another glorious opportunity for them. So close once again to the Wolves line. Milner, and he finds Gale, and Gale drifts it back to Roberts, who goes away from Evans. Can't get away from Myler or Monaghan though, and he's in touch.
Great play.
Now, was that Myler pushing, or was that Monaghan tugging?
He doesn't like it, Darryl Powell. He thinks that the officials have got it wrong. Now, is it? Well, he's definitely pulling. You can see there from Joe Monaghan.
Well, I think that's an awkward one for the officials, because you've got a man pushing from one side, and he's always going to end up in touch with that, and that's probably why he's let it run and it go into touch for a scrum.
So in other words, if someone's pushing, then it doesn't come into play.
Well, as soon as the man gets in a dragging position, the referee calls held, and that's when, if they continue to drag after that, then the penalty will be given, but he never got the chance to say held.
So if I push, then it diffuses the pull.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Warrington won't be complaining, let me tell you, because it gives them the ideal opportunity to get away from their own line. Myler, who made the tackle, that goes against his statistics.
He's the special player for me for the Warrington side. We see, obviously, tomorrow night Leeds take on Wigan. That'll be another classic game. But with Ben Curry on the left-hand side for Warrington, we've not seen his genius since the start of the season again. He may have the key tonight to unlock this Castleford defence.
This Leeds Wigan will be pretty special. Sky Sports 3 again at 7:30. The top 2 of the Super League. Here we've got the teams lying 4th and lying 5th and 6th rather. Castleford hoping they'll be 4th at the end of the day.
This is a high one. It went backwards. Boy, they were lucky with that.
He got away with it, Ben Roberts. He's appealing he was tackled in the air, or certainly without the ball.
Well, there was certainly someone buzzing around him. There's a high shot, and maybe he was touched. It was Myler that was impeding.
I think it was a competition for the ball, though. Don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Not so sure.
They got away with it, Castleford, anyway. And here's Liam Finn again.
The biggest problem
Ashley Gibson again.
The biggest problem in Warrington at the moment is that they're allowing Castleford to get into a pretty good field position when it comes to the last, and they're nearly at the halfway. This is where I go for length, get it into the corner.
Oh, that was
that's played on.
That was touched. Clark receives it and receives the tackle from Adam Milner.
Great battle between those two, Milner and Clark. That is for sure.
Kevin Penny. 5 tries in his last appearances, Kevin Penny. He's had 1 half break, which brought nothing in the end. Always a threat, though, on that left wing. And here is Myler again in centre field. Gives it to Ashton Sims. Sims goes up the middle, looked and thought about the offload, took the tackle, plays the ball to Clark. He gives it to Hill, who in turn finds Myler. Now it's with Sandow, wide to Atkins. Atkins is dumped to the ground. That's tackle number 5. They're still 11 metres away.
Great play there by Jake Webster.
Crossfield kick from Sandow. Too long.
He won't be happy with that, and neither will his coach, Tony Smith. You know, I just get a feeling about this Warrington side. They arrived here knowing that if they lost, it perhaps the last throw of the dice, Eddie. And I think the nerves are getting to them. They're panicking. They're really trying to score on every play. They've got to just build and build. Apply that pressure.
She's got a glimpse there of Tony Smith, the longest-serving one-club coach in Super League now. It's been a frustrating year for him. After the 3 Challenge Cup wins, the 2 Grand Finals, the 4 top 3 finishes. 2015, they've not managed 3 in a row in Super League.
Well, that was shocking from Lynch.
After 23 rounds, not the best from Andy Lynch.
It was a tough ball to catch that for Andy Lynch. I don't think he was expectable. Andy Lynch was expecting it, but I don't think Milner was expecting Andy Lynch to turn it over. He was far too quick. He was looking for distance. He was looking to get that ball to Liam Finn.
And Milner's pass wasn't the best. It was up round his neck.
It could prove costly.
It wasn't for him, though, Ed.
Here now is Myler to Hill. And Hill taking it forward, as he always do. The only ever present still left standing in the Warrington ranks. Sandow, the new boy, attacking the line, giving it to Westwood.
He wasn't going to be kidded, though. You can see there Shenton and Luke Gale easily put down Westwood, the big second rower.
George King is out there, the substitute, number 27. Number 6, Stefan Ratchford, goes in at dummy half behind him. Finds Sandow. Sandow then a flat pass to Westwood. The Castleford fans seem to have lost a bit of puff. They're not booing him now every time he receives the ball.
Sandow wants it. Should be a kick to the left-hand side. It is.
Crossfield kick, looking for Penny, looking for Ryan Atkins. The ball is knocked forward. This will be a try for Kevin Penny.
I think he's poached it. He's going upstairs at Ben Thaler, but I'm with you, Eddie. I think he was knocked down by a Castleford player, first of all. And Penny has picked up the pieces and turned a penny into more shillings.
I think the video referee has been asked just to see whether there was a knock-on in this challenge. Ben Thaler seemed fairly happy that the ball had gone back. Just wants to make sure that it hasn't gone from Ryan Atkins onto an opposition player. It certainly seems to be
that's a tough
in the
one.
Possession of Castleford. They're both fighting for the ball there. He's on the ground, so it's like a one-on-one challenge.
Look at this hand, Stuart, the initial hand that touches it. Does it belong to Ryan Atkins, and does it knock it forward into the Castleford defender there?
Yeah, I think you're right, Eddie.
Well, it's very difficult to see from that angle who actually gets to the ball first.
Well, you can see that Atkins' right fingertips has got to it first, and then it collides with the Castleford player. This should be a knock-on.
Well, it's very close. I'm not convinced that you can actually see a knock-on there. It certainly comes out after that. Perhaps this one will sort it out for us. Who does it hit first? Well, it looks like it. Ryan Atkins has definitely got a piece of the ball on that one.
I'd even say that it goes from
one hand to the other.
Hand to the other. He doesn't knock the ball on, and then he pushes the ball backwards here.
Well, I think he pushes it forward. I think the first one knocked it back, and then you'll see this action where he then pushes it onto the player.
No, his left hand's got hold of it, Steve, I think. I think he pushes that back.
The thing is, there might be a slight question mark over it, but they've got to be conclusively proved that it's not a try on the field.
Too true, because
that's the call that's come up.
Yeah, because Ben Thaler has given the try as far as he's concerned.
Well, there has to be proof that it's gone from Ryan Atkins onto the Castleford player, and I'm not certain that the video referee will be happy to overrule it, but it looks like he has.
Yes, the try is disallowed.
Well, quite frankly, I think they've got it right. He's not impressed. Tony Smith, Richard Agard isn't impressed either.
It was just a touch. Just a little touch, and it was just a little flash that went through my mind. Is that Ryan Atkins' hand? And obviously the video referees have agreed.
You better start taking pills, Eddie, if you start having flashes through your mind.
I get flashes through the eyes many times, but there we go. It's all turned down anyway. Ryan Atkins knock on, so Kevin Penny does not record the 99th try of his career. Maybe he will save that for later, because his last 2 appearances have resulted in 2 tries apiece. So if he gets 2 tonight, he hits the magic 100. He gets the ton.
Well, the warning light has to go on to this Castleford side, and Darryl Powell will be well aware. They've already tested the defence, Chris Sandow, and there's going to be a real pain in the bottom, because he's going to be doing that all night.
Milner on halfway. Here is Junior Moores. He started the match last week, the Samoan international.
Wait, guys.
And again, we're just getting basic rugby league football from the Castleford forwards. This is a high kick from Liam Finn.
Oh, it's knocked on by Stefan Ratchford. This is a free play, and Massey has hold of it for Castleford. There's the 0 tackle.
Quick play the ball, that's what they need.
They've got it. They're going right with Finn. And Finn goes down. He's held down as well by Chris Hill. And a dive for the line, and that is short.
Yeah, Milner just saw half a gap there.
He gets up, disentangles himself. Lynch will drive it in.
This is where
the waggling now.
This is where the link comes. This is where Finn and Gale have to combine.
Will Milner have a dart himself again this time? No. Finds Gale, not the best pass. He finds Holmes. Holmes shifts the pass. Good hands. Shenton! Shenton gets the throw. The Castleford Tigers skipper is in sensational form. 4 tries last week against Hull here, including the 150th of his career. Now the Castleford all-time record Super League try scorer with 82, and now 83 for Castleford, and more importantly a 10-point lead for Castleford.
Well, it all came about by the knock-on from Stephen Ratchford. He was put under pressure there, wasn't he? And it was good work in the end, but McMeekan, and this is sensational. Holmes with the offload. See how they got sucked in, and again Joel Monaghan is found wanting. Watch Monaghan drift in when he really doesn't need to. You can see that they've got them under control, Myler and Evans, and poor old Joel Monaghan has left a huge gap for the captain to come in. He's in top form, but that offside pass. Well, it's all about taking your chances, especially with the Super 8. It's pressure all the way through.
And Castleford have had 2 chances, and they've taken them both.
And the 2 tries they've scored, Eddie, they've been under pressure at the other end, haven't they? So it shows what a good defensive side they are, and when they do get an opportunity, they will take those opportunities.
Well, Luke Gale kicked one off the touchline to make it 6-0, adding to the first score by Justin Carney in the corner. Here now, well, if anything, slightly easier, but the pressure of the situation. But he's a good kicker, this guy. He gets to within 1 point of 200 if he kicks it. I've hexed him. I've hexed him. 10-0 it stays.
Well, Michael Shenton, he scored 4 last week. Had 1 chalked off, but just Warrington players shooting out the line, trying to solve problems. Joel Monaghan came in, and then the big left foot step. And what Michael Shenton's got, as well as having a good step, he's got speed off the mark. And his ability to spot that weakness. There's a weakness that they're going for there. Is it King that goes for the short kick-off?
How about
Tremendous, that was wonderful stuff.
Inventive play from George King. That puts Warrington on the front foot here.
Darryl Powell will be furious. That is a no-go area when you're defending. You've just scored a try and you're giving it away, and now they're giving away a penalty. It's amazing. You score at one end and then all of a sudden you lose. Lack of concentration.
The penalties for moving me off the mark. His call held and they kept on pushing. That's what he's given the penalty for, not the
steal.
Not the steal, no.
So another great chance for Warrington. Here is Myler. Myler drops it off to Ben Curry. It's another big effort required in defence by Castleford. Referee shouts held. Curry goes down and goes down again. Clark to Myler. Myler finds Sandow. Oh, no. Knock on.
To knock on.
Knock on was
Forward.
the original decision. Richard Agar and Tony Smith, numbers 1 and 2 on the coaching register, having a look at the replay.
Yeah, it was the first one, really.
It's the one from Rashford that they've called. That was the one that was called.
This was quick thinking, though, wasn't it?
Brilliant play, absolutely brilliant. Look at that. Good skill from George King there to put that kick in, get the ball back. His side needed a lift because they'd worked very hard here for half an hour and yet find themselves 10-0 behind.
Do you think that was practiced on the training field?
Yeah, of course it was.
You think so? Or do you think it's just off the cuff?
There's no way he would do that without the other 12 players agreeing to it, Eddie.
Okay.
Do you know, I think that shows the pressure that Warrington are under, and they want the ball back and they want it back in good field position. To come up with a kick like that, they've already conceded 2 tries. If that doesn't come off, they then give the ball away just over halfway.
But I know one thing, Baz, is that Daryl Powell will have a little word at half-time to the scrum half, Luke Gale, and say, hang on, that 10 metres is yours. Nobody passes. And he got through on that occasion. Take nothing away from George King. Inventive, as you say.
Lynch takes it forward and then loses it again. Well, he's come up with a couple of big errors in the last 5 minutes or so as Andy Lynch.
Well, I was just going to praise this Castleford outfit, you know, going through the basics and just trammelling the forwards up down the field and then leaving it to the 2 halfbacks, Finn and Gale. But you could see he was trying to motion to offload. I mean, it's something that's been in his game all his life. Andy Lynch, he likes to turn and offload if he can.
Myler, centre field. Sandow attack the line, but he's not getting through. Mike McMeekin.
Wait, boys, wait!
Ratchford and Ashton Sims now.
Well, you're looking for the point of difference with Warrington's attack. At the moment, it looks as though it's get to the last tackle and let's kick it and hope.
Sandow, not on the last, slides the kick through. It ricochets everywhere, and it's a goal line dropout. They've dipped the ball down, dotted the ball down behind their own line.
Well, it's such a talented this Chris Sandow, but same talent. What am I talking about? Warrington. They really have to make sure that they utilise dummy runners. They've got to try to confuse the defence.
There's a touch of panic from Mike McMeekin there. He was over the try line. Why didn't he just ground the ball? He's in the field of play. He doesn't have to put his team under pressure now by conceding the dropout.
Maybe a little lack of peripheral vision there. Ball skimming across the turf and finds its way into Ben Curry's arms. Ben Curry began the season 20 years of age. Look, he could have dropped on it, but maybe he thought there was something coming behind him. Ben Curry, 20 years of age at the start of the season. A candidate maybe for Young Player of the Year.
Yeah, definitely be pretty close to it, Eddie. But he's found it a little bit of a struggle over the past couple of months.
Here's Rhys Evans again, trying to go inside Shenton. Good defence from Shenton. Monaghan's pointing the way. He's going to come left, obviously. And he gives it to Sandow. Here now is Sims. Sims then to Myler! And Myler touches down.
This is try time. Oh, he's gone upstairs.
Well, they're appealing for a forward pass. They can't go for a forward pass. They just want to check the grounding, I think.
Nothing wrong with the ground as far as I could see. That was a simple try, take nothing away by the short pass.
Yeah, it's just the grounding they want to check. I was concerned how the ball squirted out afterwards. Certainly his hands are on top of the ball there. And that's fine, that's a try. I think in normal speed that ball shoots out fairly quickly, so just making sure. Hands on top, so it'll be confirmed.
Try then to Richie Myler. And since it has been announced that he's off to Catalan for 2016, he's been in great form. Tries in 4 of his last 6 prior to this.
Yeah, this will be put down as a pretty soft try. You can see there they had the numbers, and he's not the biggest bloke on the field, is he, Richard Myler? And it was just a simple offload by Sims. That is so easy. Dear me, Junior Moores will not like to watch that time and time again.
Are you convinced, Stuart, he had full control of that? He got the hands on the ball, it didn't skew away from him?
No, he just has to have any part of his hand on that ball as it hits the ground. And I think there was a couple of fingers on there, so that's fine.
Sandow adds the extras, and Warrington are back in this. They were 10-0 down. Gale's missed conversion might come back to haunt the Tigers later. We'll see.
Well, he's got 8 caps for England, Richie Marlin, and he's always one of those players who pushes up with his forwards. You normally see the halfbacks tipping the balls on to the big forwards who come crashing onto the ball. He's a brave young lad, always backs up, hits that crash ball, and at 5'4" and about 11 stone, he did well to score that, didn't he?
Well, especially with the likes of Junior Moores in front of him, he should have really just wrapped him up. Either way, just shows you that lack of concentration can just change the game. They're back in it. The visitors, Warrington.
Yes, they are. It's 10-6 to Castleford. The qualifiers continue, of course. The middle eights, the qualifiers for who gets into Super League or who stays in Super League, and this is a big game for Wakefield and Bradford. 3 o'clock on Saturday on Sky Sports 3.
And both of those teams played very well last week, Eddie, so that'll be a great contest.
Yes, Wakefield a bit unfortunate at Salford, but Salford got the win. That was priceless for them. Bradford, they had a great win over the weekend. Can they follow that up? Roberts does well. Ooh, and slips the pass away to Justin Carney. I know you always look for Carney, but that was a little bit risky.
Was it ever?
Especially in those conditions as well. Just 5 metres from your line.
Oh, what on earth are they doing?
Roberts' pass wide was hopeful and ambitious, to say the least.
Well, I praise Castleford by not panicking, by getting through the basics, and what on earth are they trying to do there?
You're right, Steve-O, in the first 35 minutes of this game, when they're bringing the ball away from the line, it's just simple carries, getting to the kick, not overplaying it and trying to set Luke Gale free. If it comes off, fabulous. Here's the offload, giving the ball to Justin Carney. Again, they were under pressure, then to ship the ball to the left. And Ben Roberts, he's a fabulous player, and he's definitely got that in his DNA. He's got 5 caps for New Zealand. He's played for Samoa in the World Cup. He's a brilliant talent, but on that occasion, maybe just stick it up the jumper.
Yes, Darryl Powell knows that wasn't the wisest thing he's ever done in his career, and here is George King again.
And they could find themselves behind at the half-time hooter.
Because Atkins has it, he gets away from Webster first off, comes back for a second effort. Milner deals with the threat. That wasn't the best play of the ball. Here is Sims. Hill will have a charge at the line. And he is repelled on tackle number 4. So close though, Warrington. Myler again, the try scorer, enveloped by Gale, but they've been pinged for offside on their own line.
Oh, on the last tackle as well. This is even more pressure. Well, they've got away with it on a couple of occasions of the Tigers, but I'm not so sure at the moment. They're looking desperate.
Well, they've done such a lot of defensive work in this first half. They've got some more to do here. Oh, no, they haven't put the ball down.
Well, it's a good job that Stephen Ratchford interfered with Michael Shenton, because it could have been a breakaway on the free play.
Well, it's a couple of times, hasn't it? Shenton spotted that overlap. He's come in. He has solved the problem. He's in the eye line of Stephen Ratchford, and you can just see takes his eye off the ball because of that pressure that's being applied to him.
They breathe a sigh of relief then, Castleford.
Well, Shenton had just a quick word with Ben Thaler, the official, saying that was I obstructed in trying to get to that ball either way. Thaler says we'll have the scrum.
Well, surely Castleford will do nothing risky now with less than 3 minutes to go to half-time. This is their second home game of this second phase. They can all but eliminate one of the pre-season favourites for the race to Old Trafford, Warrington, if they win here.
Well, I'll be very surprised if Darryl Powell hasn't got that message out. Say, come on, we did well getting to the halfway line on nearly every occasion when we've utilised the forward, safety first. Then they can utilise the skill factor of the 2 half-backs. Haven't seen much running from dummy half from Adam Milner either.
Well, there he is, and he hands it off again to Luke Gale, who then gives it to Carney. Wow.
Good tackle,
Good job that Westwood got him low down and Hill got him upstairs, and here's a penalty.
Now they not take the 2.
Yeah, I agree with you, Steve-O.
The 2's on offer. There's only just under 2 minutes remaining of this first half.
Yes, they've elected to do that while we have a look at the replay.
And isn't that your reward for running hard onto the ball? You land on your front, The opposition are trying to slow you down. They're all over the top of you. In your haste to get up and play the ball, there's interference, so good play from that man. This is the way you come onto the ball. Crash, bang, wallop, land on your front, get up as quick as you can, get to your knees, get rid of the defender. Good play.
If my memory's right, Castleford have had 5 penalties in this first half, and I think 3 have been awarded when Justin Carney's carried the ball. Such a difficult player. I know you don't sort of talk about winning penalties, but the opposition concede them because of the threat he possesses, as Terry just pointed out, and it will have a significant factor over the course of this match.
I agree, Phil, and the biggest problem that we often find is, especially from Chris Hill, you can see quite clearly that he was holding the jumper, and that's just classified as interference. It makes it so easy for the official to say, well, get your hand out of it. If you don't do it, then you're going to be penalised. You know, a lot of responsibility has to come on the shoulders of and he's an experienced player, is Chris Hill.
Big kick this for Gale. He missed with the earlier one, the conversion attempt. This time he makes no mistake. It's 12-6 now to the Castleford Tigers. Our pal Ryan Sheridan having a word on the side. Just up the sideline, Tony Smith looking quite relaxed about the state of affairs. We're watching 2 of the 12 founder members of Super League from 1996. Warrington have won 29, they've drawn 1 and lost 15 of 44 meetings of the past 20 seasons. And they have lost here only 7 times in 22 encounters. Well, they're going to have to come from behind in the second half if they are to maintain that record, Warrington.
Boy, nearly every Warrington player was offside then. And the home crowd didn't like it.
Lynch carries the battle forward once again. We're 3 seconds away from the half-time siren. It will go in a moment. There it is. And Lynch goes up the middle. Hill effects the tackle with Westwood. And Darryl Powell's men turn round, leading at half-time. Lee Breers might have spotted something, having a word in the ear of the coach. So Justin Carney, his try in the 16th minute gave Castleford the lead. Gale added the extras, 6-0. Then Shenton's try made it 10-0. Gale missed with the conversion. Myler with the try, Sandow with the goal, 10-6. It looked dodgy for a while for Castleford. Then they got the penalty just before half-time. 12-6 to the Tigers at the break.
Ladbrokes, proud sponsor of the Super League on Sky Sports.